guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here, and welcome back to the Atlanta Falcons versus Cincinnati Bengals game preview for the Sunday night matchup at 1 o'clock on Fox. Now, this game will be taking place at the Cincinnati Bengals at, I think it was called Paycor Stadium, because I think they changed the name of it recently, or I think before the NFL season has started. Now, the Falcons are currently 3-3. The Bengals are 3-3. The Bengals are 1-1 at home. The Falcons are 1-2 away. So, looking at this, it's going to be a pretty even game. But in all honesty, it's really going to come down to the Atlanta Falcons defense, because the defense is the reason why we beat the 49ers last week, because we absolutely shut down the running game for the 49ers. Yeah, the passing game was still kind of bad, but we still shut down the running game for the 49ers. And considering Cincinnati Bengals have Joe Mixon and they're going to have Jamar Chase, the passing defense is going to have to do a number. Because if Joe Burrow can get the ball to Jamar Chase, the Falcons are surely going to lose this game. Because in terms of the total stats, and compared to the points per game for both teams, the Falcons are scoring 24.3 points per game compared to the Cincinnati Bengals 23 points per game. So we're scoring at least 1.3 more points than the Cincinnati Bengals. In terms of points allowed per game, we're allowing 22 points. The Cincinnati Bengals are allowing 19. So the Cincinnati Bengals, in terms of allowing points, are better than us. Now, when it comes to the offense, the passing game is clearly going to be worse than the Cincinnati Bengals, because Marcus Mariota does not throw the ball. He's more of a run, and then, if he can get it open, he'll throw the ball. Because he has the passing game, it's 175 yards passing compared to the Cincinnati Bengals 273, which is almost 100 yards more. So yeah, the passing game was going to be obvious. Yards rushing, we actually have a better yards rushing because Joe Mixon has been the main guy carrying it for the Cincinnati Bengals. Meanwhile, we've had 3 running backs carry the ball for us this season, and we have 165 yards rushing and 89 compared to the Cincinnati Bengals 89 yards rushing. Now this is where I say it's gonna matter. Yards allowed. The rushing defense, the passing defense, has allowed 291 yards passing compared to the Cincinnati Bengals 228 yards allowed passing. The Cincinnati Bengals pass defense is better than the Atlanta Falcons in terms of that instance. But then we go on to the rushing defense. The Atlanta Falcons have allowed 104 yards rushing, and that only got better due down to the last game against the San Francisco 49ers. Compared to the Cincinnati Bengals, 121 yards rushing allowed. So it seems like, based off the stats, it's a pretty even game. Let's take a look at the last 5 games for both teams. The last 5 games for Atlanta Falcons have been the San Francisco 49ers, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, Seattle, and Los Angeles. The last 5 games for the Cincinnati Bengals have been New Orleans, Baltimore, Miami, Jets, Dallas. And I just want to say this straight into the simple point. Cincinnati Bengals were figuring out everything when it came to the Dallas, Jets, Miami game. Because the Miami game is the game that where Tua had his big injury. So I gotta say that. The last 2 games have been very, very tight games. They beat the New Orleans Saints 30-26. They lost to the Ravens 19-17 thanks to a Justin Tucker field goal. They beat the Dolphins convincingly 27-15. They beat the Jets convincingly 27-12. So it seems like if it doesn't come down to a certain thing happening, the Cincinnati Bengals can win this game. The Falcons in the last games, we beat the San Francisco 49ers 28-14, surprising one. We beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, should have had a very good chance at beating the Buccaneers if it wasn't for that blown call on Grady Jarrett. We beat the Cleveland Browns by a field goal. We beat the Seattle Seahawks by 4 points, and then we lost against the Los Angeles Rams. So all of the Falcons games have been very, very close games. So in terms of my prediction for this game versus the Falcons versus Cincinnati Bengals, while I don't have to say anything, I've already did my prediction, and I've already said it in my NFL prediction video. If you guys haven't seen that, go check out my Instagram and my Facebook. Links will be down in the description down below. My prediction will be right here on the screen right now, and I have the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Atlanta Falcons as the Atlanta Falcons head on to next week, where they will be facing, I think it's the Carolina Panthers, or it's going to be LA Chargers. I think it's one of those two teams. And if we're facing the Panthers next week, then yeah, we face the Panthers at a good time because they just traded Christian McCaffrey. I got a whole nother video talking about that coming for you guys. But thank you guys for tuning in this video. Falcons, let's see how you do against Cincinnati Bengals.